Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another episode of Positivity and Comics. And in the last few videos I was talking about the new books that we have in stores. And every week Marvel and DC releases what's known as dollar comics from DC and facsimile editions from Marvel, which are reprints of old books that are reprinted for $1. And right here you got a little hype for the Birds of Prey movie, I guess. You have Batman and the Huntress, A Cry for Blood, #1, which was a 6-issue miniseries by Greg Rucka and Rick Burchett from 1992, I believe. And then you have Birds of Prey #1 by Chuck Dixon and Greg Land. And if you know anything about the Birds of Prey, this was initially known as the Black Canary and Oracle, and it was supposed to be a one-shot, but became so popular that it became its own series, which Chuck Dixon and Gary Frank did for about, I think, between 35 and 40 issues. And then Gail Simone took it over. And she actually did a good job for, she was on it for 40 or 50 issues. It was a great series. It's a shame that the movie's not going to be adapted like this. If you've seen any of the trailers, none of the characters are looking like that. As far as I know, I don't think Harley Quinn was ever really involved with the Birds of Prey. And I know Barbara Gordon and the Oracle, Batgirl, will not be in the Birds of Prey movie, as far as I'm concerned. So, who knows? But let's look at Birds of Prey #1 first. And how can you pass up a dollar comic? I mean, for the most part, these books are good that they reprint. They're sent out there for a reason. And it's $1. You can't really go wrong. So it starts out right away, a nice drawing of Dina. 1 page. I mean, just look at that. It's really good art. You have Dina and Barbara just talking back and forth. Barbara Gordon, as you know, is in the wheelchair as the Oracle at this point, and going back and forth discussing their plans. You have some side characters here running from somebody, which turns out to be the Hellhound. And this is all set up for what's to happen in the series. You have this guy come out, which looks like the head mafioso bad guy. And he's talking to another mafioso bad guy known as, what was his name? Jackie Pajamas. He had some Italian last name, Parmigianian. So he just says, call me Jackie Pajamas. And basically they're just scheming what's going on. And I mean, just look at Dina right there. You see the art, it looks great. I mean, you don't really see many characters in many books drawn like that nowadays. And back then, when you had Chuck Dixon going with the Birds of Prey, and even Gail Simone doing the Birds of Prey, all the women were meant to look sexy and get the job done, do some action. It was great stuff. So she's basically getting her intel from Barbara, what to do. She got all these guys staring at him, obviously. And then you have the Oracle doing some sort of email or texting on the internet with what turns out to be some army people who are trying to get intel of their own. You got Black Canary in her outfit right there, one of her original outfits. And you just see like the action here. She's just as good as any other superhero. She sees the guy, he's not paying attention, he's smoking a cigarette, holding the gun. She sneaks up behind him, breaks his neck, duct tapes his mouth just in case, and is jumping along on to the next area. Sneaks in. These guys, what are they watching? Some movie, it looks like. And she's like, all right, I got to get in. Where am I going? I got to crack the code. And she's cracking the code for the computer to get through. And so she sneaks in here. There's all these gold watches and all this stuff. And then she sees in bottles here, there's ears and fingers. And she's like, what the hell's going on? And Oracle's like, you got to get out of there. Get out of there as soon as you can. So she's running out of there. These guys are still getting sidetracked from the movie they're watching. And she sees the helicopter is landing with that guy from earlier with two, little escorts, it looks like. And Oracle's still saying, well, you just got to go. We got to get out of here. And that guy apparently was a private investigator at Gotham. She knows him. And, then it ends on a cliffhanger there with Black Canary talking to Oracle, not looking behind her. And there's 2 guys coming out at the end there. Obviously, to be continued in Birds of Prey, Volume 1 graphic novel. And I think these are the first 3 that Chuck Dixon did. Yep. Chuck Dixon, Gary Frank, Greg Land, and Matt Haley. So check them out. They're great. You got the Huntress shows up later in there. And I highly recommend that series. Very good. So this was a very strategically placed book for DC to hype up the movie and to get people interested in the graphic novel. So good job on their part. Now let's move into Batman and the Huntress, A Cry for Blood miniseries. Like I said, it's a 6-issue miniseries by Greg Rucka and Rick Burchett, both of which worked on Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all these characters. I think Greg Rucka did X-Men. He did a lot of stuff. He's been around forever. And this is, I think, from 1992. And this is from basically the Huntress's perspective. This is her doing the dialogue speaking. And you see in Gotham here, there's been a murder. What do you know? In Gotham, Batman's investigating, Commissioner Jim Gordon's investigating, and Batman sees the arrow. And let me tell you, Batman is no dummy when it comes to investigating. So he knows who did it. So then you have the Huntress kind of talking about her upbringing in Sicily and Italy, Helena Bertinelli. And, Batman's doing some investigating of his own, and she comes up right behind him with the gun. And he's like, I know you did it. I saw that arrow. Where were you tonight? Your hair's wet. It was right by Gotham River. And she's like, oh, no, silly. I just took a shower. But Batman knows. Come on, he always knows. So he's talking to her, trying to figure out what was going on. It was one of her family members, actually. And she goes on to tell her whole life story about how, there was 5 big families. One of hers involved being the mafioso kings with Prohibition back in Gotham. Power hungry. Everyone wanted control. Everyone was backstabbing each other. And that's pretty much what happened. Until at one point, Helena, the Huntress's father, gained control. And, they came around and killed him. So from that point on, she was seeking revenge, which is what she finally did when she killed that gentleman. And then the best part about it is she killed the man as Huntress, yet she's going to the funeral as Helena. So, she's part of the family as far as they're all concerned. And, they invite her in. She's paying her respects. And you see right here, they're talking, where were we? Talking about Huntress. And you can see, how Helena's drawn. Just beautiful women. Like I said, you don't really see it drawn like that by many people nowadays. And they're talking about she murdered Claudio. Should have killed that witch long ago. What would I expect from a Casamento? We have no evidence that Huntress did it. Oh, she hated us. She killed him. She definitely did it. And so she's like, I got to get the hell out of there. So she's running away into her Huntress mobile, I guess. And then there's a man here, and she stops. He's like, what are you doing standing in the middle of the road? And she says, are you crazy? He says, no. Are you crazy? What? Are you crazy, Helena Bertinelli? Or should I call you the Huntress? And it ends. And that, if you know, is the question. So it's interesting to see that. And like I said, they're hyping up the Birds of Prey movie. I think this is the collected edition of this book, the Batman and the Huntress Cry for Blood. They just kind of reprinted the cover to go along with the woman playing Huntress in the movie. And that's Black Canary by, I don't know any of those people, and then Harley Quinn and other stuff. So overall, great books. I mean, for $1, it really pulls you in and it gets you excited. If you're into these 2 books, you can go ahead and pick up the graphic novels. This one, you got a lot of work to read. This one is, 6 issues. It's one simple graphic novel, trade paperback. This one you can get heavily invested in, read all of Chuck Dixon's run, read all of Gail Simone's run. It's pretty good. And, I guess I love seeing this. And I'm going to keep an eye out for the dollar comics from both Marvel and DC. This week, I didn't see any Marvel books that I liked. So that's why I got all DC. But next week, it looks like there's a lot of good Marvel books. And only 1 or 2 good DC books. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching. What did you think? Did you pick up these books? Would you read the trade paperbacks? Have you read the trade paperbacks? Let me know in the comments below. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.